Marge accidentally cut off Homer's finger.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
She quickly grabbed a bandage to stop his bleeding, but when she turned around, the severed finger was gone. Homer demanded the dog give his finger back, but the dog darted away in a flash. Homer chased after it at once. Marge immediately called the police. But she'd barely gotten a few words out when Wiggum jumped to the conclusion that she was guilty of attempted murder and said he was coming to arrest her. Chief Wiggum's words scared Marge half to death, so she gave a fake address on the spot. 123. Fake Saint Homer chased the dog all the way to Flanders' house, but just as he caught hold of the dog, his thumb flew off. After retrieving the finger, Marge hurried to drive Homer to the hospital. In her rush, she rear-ended another car. The car owner flew into a rage on the spot, grabbed a golf club, and started smashing the Simpsons' car. Marge was terrified, but when she turned her head, Homer was gone. Homer ended up arriving at the hospital in a fancy car, but the doctor said Homer's health insurance didn't cover the cost of reattaching the finger. Faced with the sky-high medical bill, Marge had to think of another way, but the ice used to preserve the finger had already melted. So Homer went to Moe's tavern to borrow some ice. After hearing Homer's misfortune, Moe immediately lent him his prized jar of pickled eggs that he'd kept for years. Just as Homer turned to leave, Moe stopped him and insisted he stay for a drink. Homer couldn't resist the temptation and got dead drunk. Barney splashed coffee on him to sober him up. Only then did Homer remember his finger, but when he stepped outside, Marge was nowhere to be seen. With no other choice, he had to hitchhike by the roadside. In the end, it was a hillbilly who stopped to help him. Homer was grateful to the hillbilly, but when they reached a clinic, they found it had caught fire unexpectedly. Homer begged the hillbilly to take him to another clinic, but when he turned around, his ride was gone, stolen. Homer had no choice but to walk. After tramping for ages, there were still 32 kilometers left to go, and his finger was clearly not going to hold out much longer. Just as Homer was about to toss his thumb into the trash can, an explosion went off in the distance. Moments later, Lisa's robot came flying through the air and crashed right in front of him. Here's what had happened earlier. It was the day of Lisa's school science fair. Lisa grabbed her robot and headed out, only to find she'd missed the school bus. Watching Martin strut around looking smug, Lisa refused to give up. She planned to ride her bike to school, but discovered her bike had been stolen. She tried to ask Marge for help, but saw her driving off in a hurry. With no other options, Lisa had to run to school on foot. On the way, she was nearly hit by Krusty the Clown's car. To apologize, Krusty offered to drive her to school, but when she walked into the classroom, she realized she'd gone to the wrong place. It was West Springfield Elementary.
West Springfield? I'm at the wrong school!
Lisa had to keep running. When she passed Moe's tavern, she thought her dad might be there and could give her a lift, but for once, Homer wasn't at the bar. Lisa had to go to the police station for help. Chief Wiggum said he was busy working on a smuggling case and had no time for her. Just then, a voice came over the surveillance monitor. Lisa thought it sounded exactly like Fat Tony, the mafia boss. Chief Wiggum rushed to check the monitor, accidentally blowing his cover as an undercover agent.
Hey, where's that voice coming from?
This guy's wearing a wire.
Take him out.
And just like that, the undercover cop met his tragic end. Chief Wiggum then asked Lisa to be his new undercover agent, but Lisa had no time for his nonsense and bolted out the door. As soon as she left, Homer walked into Moe's tavern. Outside, Lisa spotted Marge driving the fancy car. She begged her mom to take her to school. Listening to Homer drunkenly bragging inside the bar, Marge thought she could drop Lisa off first and still make it in time, but when she stepped on the gas, the car sputtered to a stop. It was out of gas. Just then, the hillbilly's car drove by, so Marge and Lisa hitched a ride with him. The car dropped them off at the hospital. Lisa cried out in panic, "It's too late! I'm going to miss the science fair!" Marge noticed the driver's seat was empty and the keys were still in the ignition, so she stole the car and sped off. Seeing the school so close, Lisa felt a surge of hope, but just then, Bart popped his head out of a manhole cover. What was Bart doing there? Let's rewind to that morning. Milhouse had come over to play with Bart. He said he'd discovered a big secret in the woods. Since Milhouse hadn't ridden his bike, Bart stole Lisa's bike and lent it to him. Milhouse led Bart to a cave where they found a huge stash of smuggled fireworks.